Great. So welcome everybody to this webinar. It's part of our usual webinar we normally do every quarter, specifically for our alumni, but extended to all persons who are interested in the profession of accountancy. By way of prayer, let me say a prayer and then we'll kick off. Father, we thank you for this meeting. Thank you for another opportunity to share knowledge. We are really glad that you are with us. And we pray that this discussion shall go on well and contribute to the knowledge of every participant on this call. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So welcome everybody to this pleasant meeting. Today is a Saturday and I'm very happy that a lot of us have taken off our busy schedule to be part of this webinar. And the theme of the webinar, the discussion is going to be about remote work. And as you are aware, this is a major area now, which has been brought about by the advent of COVID. A lot of accountants are able to work remotely. And it's an opportunity that many have not considered how best they will make the most of it. And this particular webinar is to highlight this opportunity and obviously help us appreciate what we need to do in order to be ready to exploit this opportunity. And as is the case, we have one of our alumni, specifically Mr. Evans Asari, who has prepared to give us a very good delivery on the subject matter. But before we invite him, it would be appropriate to read out his profile so that we all can appreciate his background before we kick off with the webinar. It's going to be a brief session. He will be presenting to us, and then obviously we'll have a time to interact and appreciate some of the things we need to know about what remote work is about, especially for we accountants. So to introduce Evans, I'll be reading his profile to do that. Evans Asari is a CA, of course, as you are aware. He's in charge of Deal Advisory Unit of KPMG Ghana and has over 16 years experience in transaction, corporate finance, and infrastructural advisory. Evans has the responsibility of leading several engagements and has over the years consulted for several companies in and outside Ghana. He's a fellow of the Cambridge Commonwealth Trust, that is FCCT. He holds a master's degree in real estate finance from the University of Cambridge, UK, and a bachelor's degree in land economy from the University of Kwame Nkrumah, University of Science and Technology, Kumasi. And as you are aware, Evans is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, and we will have no means to say that Evans is also an alumni of ASPA. I must say Evans has been one of our pioneer students, especially so many years back when we started tuition, specifically Kwabenya. And I've seen him rise through and qualify. And he's been one of my favorite students. And I'm very glad that he's gotten to where he is now. And he's able to now share his experience with us, especially in this area of remote work for accountants. And I know you are itching to hear him because it's an interesting subject. And I will be moderating the session. Is that okay? So obviously, I would allow him to come in now once I'm sure he's very ready to do so. Evans, are you ready?
Hi, good evening, Ellie. I hope you can hear me.
You are loud and clear. And
Great.
I'm sure I think I have to stop my recording, and then you can share yours. Are you able to share your screen now?
Yes, I'll try. Okay, so but if you can also allow me to show my video, maybe someone want to see my face, so.
Oh, yes, you have to. You have to show your, let me allow you to show your face. I think let me let my technical team help. Let me see.
Okay. So I will do that now.
Isaac, kindly do that for me, okay?
Sure, sir.
Okay, because everybody needs to see his handsome face. Oh my, that's great. So I think Isaac, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Let
Okay,
me
so
try once again.
good.
Okay, I hope you
Good.
can see me now.
Yes, we can all see you now.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Eli, for this
Thank you.
opportunity.
All
Uh,
right.
I remember as Spa Kwabenya, I mean,
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
7
Well,
o'clock classes, then pressure from Eli and Kwame, I think.
that's it. Right.
Yeah, thank you so much. And good evening to all our participants here. I think
Yes.
Eli has done the introduction already. So yeah, I'll just go straight to the meat of the discussion. So this evening, we're going to look at remote work for chartered accountants and how we can make ourselves ready, okay, for the opportunities that we can take from working remotely. So my presentation would have these outlines. So we'll have a look at the future of work after COVID-19. I think Ellie mentioned one of the major disruptors to traditional way of working as COVID-19. Then what are the opportunities for remote accounting work? Then what technology is driving remote work and what kind of tools can we as professionals be able to learn to make ourselves ready? What are some tips for remote work and what challenges there are for us to consider? I hope we can do this maybe in the next 20 minutes and then we can have an interactive session. I'm sure a lot of you would have insights too you want to share on working remotely as an accountant or as any other professional. So COVID-19, we know, disrupted a lot of things, and we are still reeling from the effect of that pandemic. And it's changed the way we are working today. It is estimated that up to about 25% of workers in advanced economies will be working like 3 days in a week. And it's really having an impact nowadays because a lot of companies are struggling. In fact, in some time past, we had the great exodus or the great migration towards the Western world because they were short of skilled staff and professionals. So a lot of the people had to migrate to the US, UK, Canada to be able to fill in some of the opportunities created because people didn't want to come to the office for 5 days. Okay. So on the screen here is a chart that shows you the trajectory in terms of the kind of work and then the proximity to physical location. So if you look at it, some professionals like medical workers and co, they have to, a doctor has to be in a hospital to take care of the patient. So it is a physical work that they have to do. But as you move along this curve, you get to what we call the computer-based office work. And a lot of the work we do fall within this category of computer-based office work, where we do a bit of hybrid system, where workers are able to work remotely or do a hybrid where they work some days in the office and some days out of the office, okay? And then the work of accountants and financial advisors, largely office, computer-based office work. So it is highly mobile and you can just pick your laptop and wherever you are, you can connect and work accordingly. So COVID-19 challenged employers to think outside the box to see how best to respond to the impact that COVID really brought on us. And it's really been a dramatic change. There's been a lot of digitization, a lot of automation of manual processes. And therefore, you need to be technologically inclined to be able to take advantage of the future work that we are in now is, we know some firms are calling for coming back to the office. Okay, in the US, a number of the, investment banking firms and even tech companies, but the remote work has come to stay, and we have to just accept it and know how we can prepare ourselves to work remotely as accountants. Automation, robotics, AI, we'll speak about it shortly, are all processes. Computing, cloud computing are all things that are happening now for us to be able to take advantage of the impact of COVID-19, which has transformed and disrupted the way we work these days. Now, research by Forbes advisors, I've just chosen the top 5 of industries that are ideal, that are, looking for workers. So the top computer and IT or technology companies, it is no-brainer. This is, of course, one of the areas that you can easily work remotely. Okay, IT experts, IT companies, software, developers and all that. So if you look at the industry that really is ideal for remote work, then IT and computing or technology comes to bear. In fact, I was chatting with a colleague in Nigeria some time ago, and he was saying that the professionals who have become very scarce and easily would resign are those IT, cybersecurity people, because they can be hired by any company anywhere, and they can sit anywhere and work. Okay, cybersecurity staff, those who are doing system testing and, penetration testing and all that. So those are critical industries that are looking for work remotely. Then we have the marketing. Marketing, of course, we've moved from the traditional marketing stuff to social media, okay? Social media marketing, okay? Digital marketing. And it's become easy for work to be done remotely in the marketing space. Then we have the accounting and finance. That's number 3 industry in terms of remote work. Project management, medical and health. Today, we are talking about telemedicine, telepharmacy, okay, where you can get your consulting done remotely and still get your prescriptions and even get, somebody to come home and administer your medicine for you. And then you don't need to go to the hospital for that. So these are the top 5 industries. Then in terms of the top postings, in terms of those who are looking for professionals remotely to work for them, accountant as a position or a role is number 1, according to remote.co. So if you look at the jobs that have been posted for people to work remotely, accountant, it could either be somebody to handle the bookkeeping, financial reporting or payables or what have you. So those are the jobs that get most, posted these days. Then we have the customer service representative, where you can sit anywhere and provide customer service. Executive assistant, project manager is obvious. From the previous slide, you see that project management was one of them. Then financial analyst, where you can sit anywhere and then work. Now, I put together some 5 key accounting opportunities that we can think around, where you would be able to, that is ideal for remote work. Based on the industry that are looking for professionals to work remotely. So there's the bookkeeping and payroll services, okay? So this is one of the opportunities you can think around as you look for opportunities. Remember, the traditional way of I have finished CA, I'm looking for an office to go and sit from 8 to 5 p.m. and then work as an accountant, it's been disrupted. So you now have to ask yourself, what opportunities are there for me to be able to work remotely as an accountant and still use the same principles that I've learned and not necessarily get an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. job? You can work from home and then still be able to deliver. So bookkeeping, payroll services. And then we have tax advisory services, okay, as number 2. Number 3, providing training and capacity building. And I'll use Aspire as an example. When it started, I mean, we used to congregate at Kwabenya and sometimes at the hockey, pitch somewhere in Accra for lectures, Saturdays, Sundays, and sometimes during the week. But today, I see there has been a dramatic transformation that there is no need for that congregation anymore. It is delivered virtually. So wherever you are, you can still position yourself to provide accounting and finance training, capacity building for people who are looking for this kind of training remotely. Today, you can sit here and join trainings wherever that the training is being organized without you necessarily moving over there at a substantial cost in terms of travel cost. Then business advisory services, okay? And this one cuts across a lot, other management consulting or IT consulting. You can provide this remotely wherever that you sit and still earn your income and still use the knowledge you have acquired as a professional accountant. Then finally, this I wouldn't say is exhaustive, but these are the top 5 broad accounting opportunities that you can consider as ideal for remote work. The 5th one is data analytics. And look, I think the days of debit and credit, when you finish CA and then all you are looking for is to sit in the office and be able to balance the books, they have moved on. So you have to start looking at what value add I can do to be able to make myself a bit more marketable in the space. So data analytics, okay. So accountants going into data analytics, cybersecurity, okay, system implementation and testing. And you have the foundation, you know the principles. So you'll be able to understand when you are doing maybe investigation. So you have accountants who are now doing CISA, they are certified information system auditors, because they can understand the processes involved in any financial information and know where there might be fraud and be able to identify them. So you need to start thinking about how you move beyond the debit and credit, the financial statement preparation, and what others, value add you can do to be able to make yourself much more valuable. So these are just top 5 opportunities that I present for you to look at. In terms of key accounting software or tools that may be ideal for us to look at, I mean, especially when you want to look at cloud computing or cloud accounting, okay, or accounting technology, I come up with just about 6 of them. I mean, we might be familiar with quite a number of them, but these are the most popular ones, especially Xero accounting. This is a cloud accounting tool or software that you can easily use for managing your business, especially if you are an SME, a small, medium scale enterprise. Then Xero is one of the major accounting tools that you can use. You can learn. It's so easy to use if you understand the interface and then how you can set up an entity. And these tools, you don't need to buy hardware or servers to save your data. This is kept, in the cloud. So those entities like Microsoft, Azure, Amazon, and co are developing platforms for you to be able to have access to and use these tools to manage your books, to do the bookkeeping, and then you pay the monthly subscription once you subscribe to as a company or once you subscribe to as an individual, using it to prepare books of account for entities. So Xero, FreshBooks, QuickBooks, Sage, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of some of these software, and it is easy to use. It is cost effective. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to invest in infrastructure yourself. So what they call infrastructure as a service. So they've built the infrastructure and then you just subscribe to it and then you use it. So if you are a newly, chartered accountant, I know some of them wrote last week or so, and so they will be expected to, finish soon. You need to start thinking about how you develop your skills in this accounting software, in this cloud, accounting software, to be able to offer services to businesses wherever that you are. I'll quickly look at what accountants need to do in terms of agility. You need to be agile. I've spoken about technology, that technology is revolutionizing the way we work as accountants, and you need to prepare yourself for that. What do you need to do? I put together some 4 key considerations. Number 1, I've spoken about cloud accounting. Okay, the previous slide mentioned a few of them. Now, this allows accountants to store and access data and applications online. And IaaS, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, you might have heard some of these things. So these are there already. They've been built. So all you need to do is to learn how it works and be able to subscribe it. So if a business wants you to manage the books, prepare the accounts for them, then it becomes easier for you to subscribe to any of these. And then you use it, you set up the account for the business, and then you can use it to generate your financial statements easily at a click of a button. So instead of doing things, the manual way of processing FS, it becomes easier for you to generate your reports at a much faster pace and at a much more secured, process and manner. So cloud accounting is one area that you would need to start considering if you want to work remotely as an accountant. The second one is the data analytics part. I mentioned earlier that it's a big deal. Now, what they call big data. How do you use data to make decisions? Okay, data analysis, data interpretation. How do you make your data meaningful? There are a number of tools you can consider. We have the Power BI. Nowadays, it's become so easy for people to present their dashboard. So if you're a management accountant and you need, performance results monthly, you can create this in Power BI. So as the data is fed in, you see the results right before you, how revenue is performing, how your budget is performing against the actual, how, your sales targets are performing against the actual. You can easily present this in Power BI, and at a click of a button, you can then, either download your report or export them to whichever tool that you want. So Power BI, Tableau, Python, these are all tools that are available that you can invest in as a professional and build a solid skill in this data analytics tool for you to be able to take advantage of the opportunities in data. I mean, data, they say, is the next gold. I mean, if you're able to mine data and use it to make informed decisions as a business, it puts you at a competitive edge, okay? So your data on customers' behavior, data on sales. I heard a story by someone who said that some pizza company has built a profile of customers such that they're able to send you a text message to inform you that maybe you haven't passed by to buy pizza and they have a good deal for you because they have learned your buying behavior. And so they're able to tell that at this time, you should probably pass by to buy pizza and you haven't passed by. So they are reminding you, okay, some of us, when we jump into certain websites, some pop-ups come up because the machine has learned how, our patterns, our behavior. And so it is able to predict what we want and what we want to do. So that leads me to artificial intelligence. That's AI or machine learning. Okay, so this is another big deal that is transforming the way accountants and finance people work. AI or machine learning also processes financial data for predictive analysis. Okay, so based on the history and the data you fed into the tool, it will be able to tell you how your performance is going to be in the future. So it can help you do your forecasting based on whatever data, based on the customer behavior, based on whatever things that you have put into the machine. AI is now helping businesses to make decisions as to where to invest. It can help you to, to define specific strategies for how you target your market, which product, for instance, you must focus on based on the data that you have and where you have to make your capital investments. Then finally, blockchain technology. I mean, blockchain, it's more an advanced way where transactions are recorded across multiple computers, and it's much more secure way of storing data, and it is traceable, okay? It's more decentralized. You have access to the data. The data is so secure that it needs a lot of people to agree for its deletion. So not one person can delete it, as in the case where you have data stored on your server or on your PC and you can easily lose it. So blockchain, for instance, is one of the key drivers of cryptocurrency nowadays. So cryptocurrency, once it's being developed, it goes through a lot of these things for these currencies to be generated and then to be sold on the market, as we say it. So these 4 areas are revolutionizing the way accountants work, and you need to build capacity and knowledge in this area to make yourself agile as an accountant. Last but one slide, and then we can go into discussion. What are some of the key tips for remote work? Number 1, you need to have access to internet. Okay, it is a prerequisite, because you will need to check your emails and make sure that you have access to video conferencing and then to work online. Okay, some applications, as you work online, they back up. I mean, you can do collaborative sites. So you have some team members in the US, in the UK, wherever, working in one document today. That's what we do in KPMG. We can have one document and people sit anywhere and we all work in the same document. And so it is live, it is saved in one collaborative site. Without internet, you cannot have access to it. You can work offline, and when you log on to it, it can update, but it is best when it is live and everyone knows what we are all doing. You create a secured workspace. Ensure the workstation is physically and digitally secured. If you work at home, of course, you have to ensure that whatever you are doing is secured, okay, digitally and then physically, so that it cannot be hacked. Then consider the different time zones that you are working in. You could be working for a company in the US or in India. Look at the time differences. So you can plan such that by the time maybe they are waking up in the morning, you have finished your report and it is in their inbox, okay? And then they are able to, or in the case of India, where they are far ahead of us, you work in such a way that you can also meet their timeline. So consider the time zone you are working in and when deliverables are due. Number 4, plan your calendar. Working remotely sometimes can be very disruptive and it can invade your privacy. So people can call you anytime. They don't check whether you are available or not. But once you have your calendar well planned and they know that, you know, at this time you are not available, they don't put meetings in there. Data protection laws. You will have access to data that you would need to understand how you protect that data, because different countries have different data protection laws. So Ghana has one. So if you are working for a company and you need to keep data somewhere, just be aware of what data protection laws may be applicable. If you are using an accounting software, just understand where it is being hosted and what data protection laws and when it may be, you know, released to whichever authority. So you need to be aware of the data protection laws there. And then finally, consider the tax laws. You could be working in jurisdictions where the tax, you know, issues are a bit more complicated, double taxation treaties, and then withholding taxes. Where are you generating the income from? Is it Ghana and the company is in the US, or the company is in Ghana and then you are working from elsewhere? Just understand all the various taxes before you fall foul of the tax laws. And then finally, what are some of the challenges that you may come across? I mean, those of us who are working remotely can, you know, attest to some of these things that I'm going to talk about. So work-life balance, okay. During COVID, when we had the shutdown and then, or the lockdown, I mean, once you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is to probably just jump onto your machine and open your computer and start working. You even forget that you haven't eaten. So there was quite a severe conflict in terms of work and life, how you balance it. But you need to be aware that you still work in the working hours, okay, and take your normal breaks as you have to if you were doing physical work, and you need to ensure that that is balanced. I mean, working remotely, sometimes you work a lot more. I mean, from my experience, you seem to work a lot. If you wake up in the morning and then you just sit behind your machine, you probably might be working 10, 12 hours in a day instead of the usual 8 hours in a day. So you need to be aware of this challenge and see how you plan towards that. And then the cultural and social interaction. I mean, this became obvious when you look at people we employed pre-COVID and those that came in during and after COVID. you could see there's some cultural differences because a lot of them didn't have the chance to work with people, in the office. So it's a little bit difficult, integrating them. And these are challenges you meet if you're working remotely, the cultural, social issues. I mean, the work philosophy, people you call them, you don't get them. In those days, if you were all in the office, you could walk in there and then ask, a question. But this time around, they are not available. You need to either call or send them WhatsApp. How they even respond, they don't check their emails, they don't respond on time. So these are cultural interaction and issues that you might want to consider. And then the team dynamics, okay, as you are working, there may be the tendency for isolationist tendencies where you work, in isolation and you think that, it's best for me. It reduces the teamwork effort or abilities that you need to build as a person. And so these are critical challenges that you want to consider during remote work. So Ellie, I think I'll bring my presentation to a close here, and then we can jump into discussion. I've seen some people, raising their hands already. I'm sure maybe they have questions.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
all right.
before we come up with the questions, there's something I want to say, which is something, as we're having a conversation, I just chanced on this. It says that taxis don't like Uber, hotels don't like Airbnb, bookstores don't like Amazon, and cinemas don't like Netflix. I repeat, taxis don't like Uber, hotels don't like Amazon. Sorry, hotels don't like Airbnb, sorry. Bookstores don't like Amazon. Cinemas don't like Netflix. And those who like 9 to 5 don't like remote work. So I'm sure those who like 9 to 5 don't like remote work. I've seen the similarity there. So it's interesting. It's interesting that, and all these, the undertone is innovation. We
Sure.
need to innovate. We need to innovate. I get people who call and then they said, when do you tell them that your lectures are purely done online? They say, no, I want to have face-to-face. Why? What is I want to have a face-to-face lecture. They don't want to have a strictly online lecture, but it's changing now. It's part of the evolution, it's part of the innovation. Is that okay? So let's get ready, because changes is in itself very important if we need to make progress. We have changed how we do things now. Everything we do now is online, and we have appreciated the change. Is that okay? And we have responded appropriately, and we are getting all our students to also make that change. Is that okay? So on that note, we'll be inviting questions. We have a lot of colleagues who wants to share. I would want us to use two approaches in dealing with this. You could share your questions in the Q&A box, makes it easy to read. And then also we could invite you to share. Is that okay? But apart from that, before we get on to the question, one of our alumni, Dixon, also wants to share a brief experience on remote work, how he has personally been able to manage that. And so Dixon, I will give you the first opportunity to share your experience with us. And then once you're done, we can move into other colleagues. Dixon, I give you 2 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Sally. So,
Right.
Mr. Sorry, thank you very much. Your presentation basically sums up, my personal experience, having been working remotely for about almost 2 years now. What I will tell my colleagues is that, I was used to, the Excel on desktop, or maybe if you use a laptop on the dashboard. But once I started working remotely, then they introduced Google Worksheet. So Google Worksheet basically it behaves like Excel. So though the functions might be the same, but how it works and everything is slightly different. And so if you are looking for remote jobs, it is an area that, truly speaking, you have to you have to master Google Sheet, and most of these Google tools in any way, because like Mr. Sari said, we work collaboratively. My boss and my colleagues in other African countries, they can see what I'm working on. So if they come and edit it, when we look at the history, we are able to tell. So all of these things are things that we need to look at, so that at least we get prepared for some of these. Because I mean, take it, most of these online jobs, the pay is good. Those of you looking for good money, because if my employer is in Latvia, and I mean, so if they pay you even in euro, small euro in Ghana is big money. So it is an area that we can really harness opportunities. I think the last thing I will say is that, you see, the thing is, we have a cultural mindset about people. Oh, this one is a gay, this one is that. The moment you begin to work remotely, these are tendencies you have to erase, because it is not about what sexual orientation the person believes or wouldn't believe or whatever it is. Once you start working with these people, the mindset should be, okay, you are there to work, make a living, and take care of your family, and that's all. As to what they believe in and all that, well, that should not be an issue for you. I'll conclude by referring to the last part of it, that we also need to. My work, for instance, the country is about 3 hours ahead of us. So by 6 a.m., they are already in the office. So it means that if I have to do any reports, I have to get up like 4. Most times, by the time I get to the Ghana office, which is an office set up so that we could collaborate, it means that almost everything is done, except maybe there are a few issues. And so that means that you have to also learn to adjust, and not, thinking that, okay, you still be doing it as you do it in Ghana. You need to adjust, so that always your report is on time, and then your performance is also up there. So this is a little from the experience I've had working remotely, which I can share with my colleagues.
Right. Thank you so much, Dixon, for the contribution. We have some questions also. I think one of them people keep asking is, how can you get genuine website where you can get remote work? I know Dixon is very much a top influencer on LinkedIn. Dixon, can you give us a quick update on that? Apart from LinkedIn, I'm aware of what we call flex jobs, FLEX, and then jobs. And then also we have also remoteco.co. So 2 sites you could get job, but predominantly I would say that LinkedIn is a major area where you could get that from. Yeah. So Dixon, what do you have to say on that before?
Yeah. So for the 2 that you've already mentioned, that is the case. For LinkedIn, it is. I mean, if you're on this call, definitely you should be there if truly you want to. Take your career to the next level. What's probably I think most of you might be aware is that, because it's more like the fraudsters have also found their way into these spaces, because they know that a lot of people are looking for remote jobs. But we should be mindful at this age, and in terms of what we've been able to do, to know that anytime you are online, you are looking for a job, whether it is on LinkedIn or whichever website. I mean, the fact that they start maybe demanding money, or they start demanding excess documentation and all that, then it has to prick your mind that these people probably not be genuine.
Obviously,
Yeah. So
once the stamp once it's fee-based, then the fee is quite outrageous. You need to verify. Once you're an accountant, based on your background, you must have the ability to carry out due diligence. Very important. Before committing to such arrangement. It's very important. Right, Evans, I hope you are there.
Oh yes, I'm here. It's a very interesting conversation, and
yes,
I think the submissions by yourself and Dixon are on point. You need to be agile don't wait to see advertisements in the papers. Just be on the lookout, update your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes even I get emails, from LinkedIn because of my profile that says that there's this opportunity here. So once you update yourself properly and then you profile yourself, it sort of connects the machine, as we are saying, machine learning. It's able to
the logarithm itself is
exactly, yes. So the
on the
algorithm is
lookout
built
for you.
such that it's able to link your profile to opportunities, and then you get those emails, and then you can apply for. So please just be on the lookout for these opportunities.
Very
Yes,
good.
and Mr. Just a last contribution. You see, once you are there, recruiters also, keep coming to you. And
Yes.
as it stands now, there is one that I think I will share with the team so that anyone who is interested, they are looking for a compliance manager for, I think savings and loans company in Ghana. They just approach, oh, this opportunity, blah 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 blah. Okay, are you interested, or can you recommend somebody? So this is also one of the advantages. When you are there, just put out like your CV. Everything is out there. They see it, and when opportunity comes, they can call you. They will send you messages that, hey, we read your profile. We thought maybe you'll be interested in ABCD, and it helps at least. It makes you more. Like it's a proactive way, other than, okay, you are waiting to see a post or something like this.
Great. Thank you, Dixon. There are some hands that have up. Let me see if we could hear from them. I'll be starting with Ezekiel. Ezekiel, any question for us? Ezekiel, any question for us?
Thank you, Sir Alex. I think, sorry, I didn't pull down my hand earlier. Dixon just answered my question. It was about the fraud issue. About, online, sometimes you are not too sure if what you are approaching is the right thing. But I think I've learned something from Dixon and the rest of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Due diligence is very key, especially when it comes to remote work. They will surely contact you, but be much aggressive. You are an accountant. If there are red flags, you should surely see. Is that okay? If the opportunity is there, some of them will pass it through, you making some payment and all of that. It's not right. Just be sure, carry out your further due diligence. Is that okay? And I'm telling you, you can be able to detect once there's something that is amiss. Great. Cletus,
I think, Ellie, if I remember, it's about professional skepticism.
Oh, yes. Professional skepticism, right? Having a question in mind.
Yes,
and
a
being
question
alert
in mind.
to anything,
Absolutely.
Right? Being alert to anything that indicates a possible wrong. Is that okay? Yes. So you need to be skeptical. Good. Let's have Cletus. Any question?
Yes. Thank you so much, Sir, and the team. I think this is the topic that we would like to be listening always. The challenge most of us have always is that the tools, just like he mentioned, the tools that we will need to address ourselves when we are going to really work remotely.
Yeah.
If there are other training courses that we have to undertake,
to
enlighten ourselves when it comes to some of these tools. That has been the problem. And
yes. And one thing I will always say is that, you see, if you want to be ready to get these opportunities, one thing is that put your CV down. Check your CV. What's your IT skills? Like what Evans is saying. On your CV, there's nothing to show you've even done training on Excel. Basic. You don't have any training on Excel. That's number one. Number two, what software? What was the last time you learned an accounting software? Zero. There's nothing there showing you learned any serious software. You're already out. So first things first, your Excel, number one, should be there. Like what we call it, financial modeling skills should be top on your CV. Number two, your software. What accounting softwares have you learned and very much proficient with? That's second. Then the third thing is to now provide some narrative to show that you are a very flexible person with some background experience of support work or online work, can put you out there. And Dixon actually has the expertise in helping people to put CVs together. And he's a top influencer on LinkedIn. You could have him to help you put your CV together to help you get there. But if these key things are not there, you don't have the proficiency in what do you call it, financial modeling, zero. You don't have any software experience, zero. Who do you think will engage you in any serious, what do you call it, work? That's the thing, and most of us don't have it. And when we keep saying, go for this training, it's like as if somebody wants money. No, people are positioned to get these opportunities, and they are getting it daily. And the world has changed. So if you don't innovate, people will be getting the opportunities. The next time you call a friend, he's telling you, I'm in Canada. I've got an opportunity. All because you don't want to listen. You are too hard-headed. So sometimes listen to the advices we are giving. If you look at this presentation, Evans has given you some softwares that if you don't have proficiency in, you are not even there yet. Is that okay? Data analytical skills, you don't have it. Like the Power BI, the Tableau, you don't have it, and you are still there, unconcerned. Who should help you? Do you think it's a joke? It's money. You have to find money and build capacity. If you don't do it, somebody will do it and leave you behind, and you'll be just there. Exactly. And you keep complaining, oh, there are no opportunities. It's not you. The small salary you are earning, you always use it to go and eat fufu every Friday. When was the last time you did some training? I want to be hard on you guys now. Because when we don't say this, some people just think it's a talk shop. I want you to build your capacity to get opportunities. That is it. Is that okay? So I'm sure there are some other people who wants to ask questions. Let me be biased. I'll go for the ladies. Jemima, any question? Is that okay? Any question from Jemima? I think the next people I want to speak will be the ladies. Then we have Walia. Any question from you? Jemima, are you ready?
Yeah, Sally.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I joined a bit late, but then I don't know if you've already put across Mr. Dixon's contact. I would like to have his
You want
contact.
him to help you with your CV, right?
Yes, please.
That's fine. I'll help you with that. So Dixon's contact is easy to obtain. When you search for him on LinkedIn, he's a top influencer on LinkedIn. So kindly do that. Do you have a LinkedIn account? Because I know, Walia, you say you don't like social media.
I have a LinkedIn account.
It is well. It is well with you. So better check him on LinkedIn. You should
Yes.
quickly send him a message on LinkedIn.
His
And
LinkedIn name.
his name is Dixon Asan on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Dixon Asan, thank you.
Yeah, Dixon Asan on LinkedIn. I think Philip has his hand up. Philip, do you have anything to say? Philip is an alumni, and Philip is our lecturer for oil and gas taxation on our CIT program. Philip, do you have anything to say on remote work in the area of tax?
Yes, Ellie, I just want to add a letter to it. If you look at the areas that our brother mentioned, tax services is one of the areas that uses a lot of remote work, and it's good. In the advent of technology and filing online, we can explore that area too. Of late, it's not necessary for you to be in the client office or somebody's office. As I talk to you now, I have almost about 6 companies that I do their filings for them every month. They just send me, yes, they just send me the data.
When you collect the money too, you don't remember me, Philip. So.
Early. So it's good. It's good for us to explore this.
Yeah, because the opportunity, yes, from what Philip is saying, Philip said it the last time, there's so much opportunity for us, especially those of you who are pursuing the qualification in CIT, right? There's much, because GRA has aligned their operation, virtual tax processes, and various SMEs are looking for people who can help them file their tax processes. And if you set up an arrangement that can get to assist people to file their tax, make sure that their tax compliance is up to date, it's a major opportunity. You can just do that sitting in your comfort of your home, build a software that could sort this out, as simple as that. And Philip, as I said, is one of our alumni, is our tax lecturer for oil and gas taxation on our CIT program. And he always emphasized this, is that okay, that there's opportunity in the area of tax, to helping people to file their taxes and all of that. So if you are one of our alumni who has chartered CIT, and you are telling me you don't have a job, there's no opportunity, I'm a CIT, qualified CIT member, and there's no job opportunity for me, come for counseling. You are missing something. Because as we speak, Philip is an alumni, CIT, same, now a lecturer, and he's obviously having opportunities in the area. So sometimes we need to position ourselves. The flexibility is needed. Change of mind, agility, being able to take advantage of opportunities. That's essentially what we need. Is that okay? Evans, do you have anything to say on that before I invite someone else?
Yes, so I think you summed it up that you have to prepare for the opportunity. If the opportunity comes today and you don't have those skill sets, you don't have those competencies, you would be, so something must differentiate you from others.
From others.
So your CV, your profile, you must ask yourself, what differentiates me from the rest, such that employers will look out for me, okay, that they will call me, that SMEs, there are so many SMEs that are having challenges with their tax filings, their accounts, and what have you. And you need to position yourself. If you go to the Ghana Enterprise Agency, they are working with a number of SMEs. How do you take advantage to support them in bookkeeping, in tax filing? And you create a whole niche for yourself once you master in one of those accounting softwares.
I have a friend who, she's not a CA. Are you listening? She's not a CA. She has no accounting background. She's a science student from, we both went to the same secondary school. The husband is not a CA. He's just somebody who worked as a finance officer. These two people, married couple, came together and now have one of the most reputable accounting services business for SMEs in Ghana. They are working with this business, have their own house, even they are using their house as an office, also as a residence, and they are doing so well. They are not qualified, but there's somebody who is a chartered accountant and has no ability to put something together like this, all because that push is not coming. And this evening is a call to duty. As you are ending the year, put something down. Next year, we want colleagues to get into this area of business and start something remotely. You don't need to go and sit in somebody's office 9 to 5. That is not the only reason why you are working. Work is work. I've been sitting on this chair the whole day. I've been working from dawn till now. I've been teaching. I hope you are getting it. But yes, but somebody say, oh, what is work? Work means that I'm going to sit in somebody's office. I dropped my tie and suit almost getting to 7 years now. And I've been working. I still work. Yes, basically, it's the flexibility that it brings. The opportunities that you have your own time is that, okay, people are working with you at different working hours. You wake up into the night work and the day you enjoy yourself. People in the area may even think, is this man not into some fraud or something? Because at the end of the day, they don't see you go to work every day, but you are still making use of your time. Are we clear? So that is it. So let me take some more ladies now. There's somebody who is called now. Now, any question? Then we have
hello, sir.
Yes, now, any question?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Please, I have an oncoming interview for both job, a company in Canada. Please, I want to ask Dixon and Evans if they could give me some tips that will help me in my interview to be able to get. They already went through my CV and they've invited me for the interview.
So Dixon, anything you could share with her? She's got an interview coming up, I think November, on a remote work in Canada. Can you share some tips for her on how to position herself to get that opportunity? Dixon, can you do that?
Well, the approach is the same. The approach is the same if she was the interview was in person. So whatever it is, whatever the role is, you basically need to ensure that at least you understand in detail every aspect of it. And you once the interview starts, I mean, almost all interviews are in two phases. You have the soft part, and then you have the technical part, which will basically ask you about your competencies on the job, and then the soft part, which is basically about whether you are a fit for the role or not. So you need to take these two areas seriously, and then like I always say, it's an interview, it's not a war. So you basically have to relax and ensure that yes, you speak to them and you speak what you know based on the CV and also the job description that they've put out there. So in short, that day, make sure that yes, the internet is working properly. If you are using your phone to hotspot, then you have to ensure that nobody calls you, because that can really disrupt your internet connectivity and of course the interview as well. So the rest, how to answer the questions, I think we can't use this podium to do that. So maybe afterwards we can talk, and then maybe we see how best we can arrange it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dixon, for the quick response. Then we have, I think, Doris. Doris, any question?
Yes, sir, Sally. I wanted to find out the accounting softwares, the zero accounting softwares and the rest. Do you need to subscribe as an individual or as an entity or as an organization if you want to?
I think for most of the softwares, is that okay?
Yeah.
You can purchase them as an individual. They are packages, are we clear? So you can have a single user package or multiple user package. Is that okay? Which you can use for whatever purpose you want to use it. So you don't necessarily need to be an organization. You could have a single user, multiple user softwares that you could subscribe to. Is that okay? I hope I've answered you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Then we have Dina. Dina, any question?
Good evening, Sally. It's
Good
the
evening,
same
Dina.
question as Doris asked.
Okay.
I was going to ask if there is any institution that we can join to learn those softwares.
Definitely. Definitely. It's something we want to be looking at doing very soon. We have, for us at ASPA, our practical accounting training deals with that, but we are not tailoring the training to meet only one particular software. What we do is to have a training on accounting software that will meet the expectation of all. But as we speak, we want to try as much as possible to now look at having some of those packages, specific training for some of those packages like Xerox, Sage, and the rest, exactly. But the challenge is that you may end up training for almost all softwares, and you end up understanding that most of them, the logic is the same. Is the interface that differs. Is that okay? Because whatever Sage does, Tally may be able to do it. Is that okay? Whatever Tally does, QuickBooks may be able to do it. But the only difference is that each of these software developers have designed various user interface, which make the process a bit different from each other. Is that okay? But if you have a training on one key software, is that okay? In using the other, you just have to adapt to the user interface. And within some 2-3 days, you should be fine. Is that okay? So just have proficiency in one main software. And then with that, you can scale up to other softwares. Obviously, the only thing is to be adaptable to the user interface. It's like using Android and then now coming to use iPhone. I'm sure when you switch, it will just take you some 2 days to now know that when it comes to Android, this is how you look for your keypad. But when you go to what they call iPhone, this is how you get your keypad. But the logic is the same. They are all performing the same work. That's how software works. I believe it's clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be looking forward for that.
Definitely.
Just to add something quick. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, whilst you wait to go into a formal training, please, you have access to online training tools.
Yes.
Okay. You can take, the Zero and then do online and update yourself. If you go to YouTube, if you go to it tells you how you can navigate that interface. What are the various models in that software? How do you set up an account? How do you even connect your business account to the software? You can learn all these things online before you go for proper certification, where you can say that indeed you have been certified. I know Eli will definitely be the to provide that.
So to add to that, Evans, so what I'm trying to recommend is that at least there are some people who don't have proficiency in any software at all. Are you getting the point? So if you have both proficiency in one, don't bother now trying to now be scaling up with different softwares. You can use YouTube to adapt to another, because what it helps you is that with that video, you are able to know, like as you said, how to create an account, how to post your ledgers, is that okay, how to set up various costs or whatever, or even have a control account. All those things you can do it by just on YouTube learning that what maybe Sage recommends in doing this? What does Tally do when it comes to, because even with the various software developers, every year they bring new versions. So somebody may be doing Sage 1, another is Sage 2 or Sage 50. I think they have it in the 50s or so. There is Sage 50, there is Sage 70, whatever. They have it in that variation. So somebody may have been trained on Sage 20, but as we speak, there is Sage 70, and the user face is changing. So what it means is that somebody may have been using iPhone 12, but now there's iPhone 15, is that not it? So it means that the person can use iPhone. It's just that the version now has a user interface which is maybe more nicer and presents things differently. I believe I'm making sense to somebody. So that is it. That is it. Thank you all for the contribution. Let me pick two more people. We are supposed to close at 7. Let me pick two people. Once we are done, then we can shut down. So we have Salim. Is that my usual Salim? Is that my good friend Salim?
Yes, it is Salim, your friend Salim,
accountant
the tall
Salim.
Salim.
The
Yes,
tall
sir.
Salim. A good one.
Good
Salim,
evening.
any question for us?
Yes, I must say I'm very glad with this package that you and your team have put together for us in order to enhance our capacity in this field. But the concern I would also want to raise is maybe I may be talking for some of my colleagues as well as myself. You know, when you look at some of us, we are currently working under the public sectors. And from what I can deduce, I can see that this is in particularly, let's say, in connection with private sectors. But when you look at the kind of work we do at the public sector, I think there's some kind of difference. So sometimes, in as much as you would want to go into this remote works, and I can see you also running certain trainings on your status and your page about data analytics and other financial modeling skills. But the question I want to put across is, like, in as much as you want to help us get these skills and also trying to put something together so that we can learn these applications like the Zero, the Sage, and other things, can there be an interface that, let's say, Aspire can have a platform that we can have certain practical works to do for companies, even if it's on the basis of internship, so that with that you are doing the internship, but you're also acquiring that skills and that experience, so that, let's say, after some months, you should say that you are fine and you can boldly go into an organization and also do something remotely. That's what I want to just put across. So
I think it's a wonderful recommendation. Worth looking at. So Salim, thanks for that. I think we can take it up. One thing we want to do next year, which is part of our alumni engagement, is to have a conference. Is that okay? Yeah. So look out for that. We'll have an end of year webinar, and it's on the agenda. We want to see where we can possibly have a conference. Is that okay? An alumni conference, which will be named. I'll give you the name very soon, where we'll come together and have these interactions. And there will be open forums where we could invite you to speak to key players or various industry players on opportunities that they can easily present to you and help you to position you to easily find jobs, which is a major problem for most of us. And that's the idea we had. I think the first idea came up, like Mike recommended. We call it Sigmund Academy, where we want to have a lot of young guys who have already gotten their qualification. How do we train them and position them to get jobs as quick as possible? It's one of the things we were looking at doing. But as you said, it's worth looking at. And next year is part of our drive. Is that okay? So Salim, thank you for the comment, the word or commendation, I would say, is something we'll be looking at doing very soon. Great.
Ellie, please, sorry to put across this question. You see, sometimes some of our friends, when they see you, oh, now you're a chartered accountant. Yeah, please, I have this problem about stock evaluation. How do I go about it? How do I go about? But when you look at yourself, you know that
you yourself, you know that the thing they are saying, you haven't done some before.
You know that you haven't done some before.
Yeah. So you bring it when you have the opportunity. Bring it. I'll show you how to do it and collect money for you. Okay.
Okay. But Ellie, I want to ask this training that you are going to do. Is it this month or next month?
Yeah, it's this month. We'll have a webinar. We'll have a webinar on that this coming Wednesday. So I'm sure when
Oh,
we do,
okay.
we will have all the questions that
Okay.
everybody wants
Okay.
on our training programs and the opportunities we have. Is that okay? So we'll share that.
Okay, sure.
And I don't want us to
Okay.
drag this meeting for long. It's a Saturday. I'm sure people want to go and sit down somewhere and have fun. So I'm sure I will need only some 2-3 questions and then we can shut down. We have, is it Mubarak? Mubarak, any question? And then Desmond, any question before we shut down?
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yeah, Desmond, any question?
Yeah. Good evening.
Good
And
evening.
thank you so much for this program.
Yes.
I'm most grateful. In fact, you have actually not made me regret for joining ASPA. I'm enjoying it. But then I want to find out how will I get Dixons to guide me prepare my CV properly.
Oh, yes. As we said, Dixon is an alumni. So I'm sure Dixon has to give a package to our alumni or our students. So Dixon, are you there? I'm sure the way our students and alumni are demanding your services, I have to find a way to create some platform that you can assist as many of them as possible. Because for most of us, our CVs are not adequately ready for online jobs or remote work.
Yes, it's not well organized. That
It's
is
not well, or
the
you need
difficult.
that support, you need that fine-tuning so that you can be ready for it. And as I said, yeah, Dixon has the ability to do that. So I'll surely deal with that. So Dixon, get ready. I'm sure you'll be having a lot of traffic.
Well, we are here to support ourselves. So.
Definitely. So I'll surely arrange that. So I'll be having some things to put across on our various pages once we are done. Now we are done with ICA. I'm sure everybody's relaxed, and this is why we are having a program like this. So hopefully before the end of November, we'll be having some other sessions where Dixon and other colleagues will help us to fine-tune our CVs. We did that. I think that was the last alumni webinar we did, and it was very insightful. I'm sure we will need another one very soon. So I think there is one Richmond. Is there any question
Yes,
from
sir.
Richmond? Or Mubarak?
Yes, sir. Mubarak, sir.
Mubarak, go ahead quickly.
Yes, sir. Honestly, I must say that I'm happy to have assist as far because I've been your student. Just that I never had the opportunity to, take a picture with you when I was graduating as a CA.
Okay.
But when I was graduating last month as a forensic auditor, I
Okay.
think we took a picture together, and I'm
Okay.
so much impressed. A lot of people have called me say, you know this man and this
Okay.
man, you were my lecturer. But the issue here has to do with I'm a security man and possibly will not have the opportunity to, as it were, as a district or municipal commander, we will not have the opportunity to practice more of the field that we have actually try our best to work within. So it becomes an issue when it comes to it comes to gathering experience per my job line.
Okay.
And so I try as much as possible to see whether at least I can get it is be more embarrassing to be called a chartered accountant when you don't have the practical experience
Yeah.
or specific auditor, you don't have the practical experience. So I'm trying my best to see how best I can have my CV1 well modernized in such a way that it will suit the profession I'm building the career on,
Okay.
as in a chartered accountant, not
Okay.
just a CT man, but
Okay.
also how to gather the experience as a forensic auditor and
Okay.
also a chartered accountant, because
Okay.
it will not be well for you to be called a chartered accountant when it comes to certain issues. You
Yeah.
don't have the practical experience.
Okay.
So
So
I'm looking at
Mubarak, I think what I can help you. Let's talk on WhatsApp. I'm sure I can find some opportunity for you. I know how busy your schedule is, but there could be a way out. Is that okay? There could be a way out where you could also, because some of us, yes, currently we are in a position where we don't have the time to practice. Our job is already tailored in a particular direction. Even though we have qualified, we are not actually being able to use our certificates. Yes, there are some options I could recommend for you. Once you have your itinerary, yes, you can have it. There are people who normally do that. Let me give you an example. Our Auditor General, specifically Don Level, he was not a trained auditor. Actually, he was a staff of controller, but with time, he was making time to go and study auditing with a private firm. It's like over time, he did that and obviously gave him some experience in that area. So moving to audit service, he could fit in there. I hope you are getting the point. So sometimes you may find yourself in a position where you are not applying your accounting skills. You must understand that a time will come, you could be called to use it. So the question is, what are you doing on the side to equip yourself silently? Is that okay? Whilst the opportunity comes back in the future, I hope you are getting the point. So don't worry, give me a call or you can chat me on WhatsApp. I'll arrange a time for you where we could have a talk and I'll see what I can do to help. Is that okay? Great.
All right, sir.
Great.
Thank
Thank you, Mubarak. So I think we've had a lot
Hello,
of
sir.
the way the thing is going.
Hello,
Richmond,
sir.
my last.
Yeah. Okay.
Richmond,
So
you talk and let me close. Yes.
I just want to know whether does jurisdiction of our qualification matter in terms of searching for a remote job? Because last
No, it
month,
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Once you're an
last month
accountant, you're an
I
accountant.
applied to some recruiting firms and
Mhm.
and they were like they need SACAs instead, like South Africa, chartered accountant from South Africa instead of Ghana. So
It depends. It depends on the entity. Is that okay? It depends on it. We are all members of IFAC. ICA is a member of IFAC. Is that clear? SICA, which is the South African ICA, is also a member of IFAC. Is that okay? Now, the key point is that sometimes it depends on certain employers and what they actually want. Is that okay? They may be specific, even though they are demanding for remote work. They will be specific. I was just having a chat with, we're having a CIMA class this afternoon. And obviously, I don't want to use some examples that will make it obvious, but there are some audit firms, multinational audit firms, that are demanding specifically remote workers in India, specifically. They don't want anybody else but people from India. You see the point there? So there are some who are biased in terms of where they want their people from. And it's all because of the culture. Is that okay? And some of us and the way we behave, exactly, when we get some of these opportunities, affect others. So it means that we need to position ourselves well. Because as a country, our competitive advantage is not aligned to some of these virtual works. Are we clear? India has built a whole industry around remote work. So you have multinational firms, audit firms, automatically getting people, huge number of people who are subscribing to remote work in India. But as a country like Ghana, we haven't positioned ourselves. What we need to be having a conversation on is that we have so many chartered accountants coming up, a lot of us. The Institute could facilitate some comprehensive training program to position accountants in Ghana to take up opportunities. And it should be led, industry-led, and very loud, that everybody in the world knows that accountants in Ghana are remote ready. And I can tell you that will be a CCA for us, a competitive advantage that can sell the profession in Ghana to the world. So we need it. Is that okay? We need some action. And if that action happens through our leadership of the Institute, it can drive the remote work opportunities for us. And I'm sure if that happens, we will all benefit. But currently, we have some snip, snap opportunities coming up. People are taking advantage of it. But it could be a massive opportunity if it is a concerted effort by leadership to get us there. Is that clear? So we'll get there. We'll surely get there. Evans, do you have anything to say as we shut down? Evans, do you have anything to say?
Yes, Eli.
In
so,
conclusion?
Yes, so I think there are quite a few questions in the chat room.
Okay.
I think one obvious one is whether they will have the recording, which I think maybe you'll be making available.
Definitely.
I can also share my slides with you. Those who may need it can also have access to it. But I think we need to be proactive and just get yourself ready.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a training, institution now teaching this, then just get yourself online and then pay for these online trainings on, cloud accounting, and you would be marveled what you will learn, online. I mean, it's being offered. Just be, sure, do your due diligence and make sure that you are paying to the right institution, and then you can sign on to any of these training, bodies to train you on the accounting software. So
do you know what I want you to do as a way of a summary? If you can go back with your slide, there are some important part of the slide that I think we can use to finally drive the closer. One of them was the challenges. Yeah, so yes, if you can go back. Yes, so I think we can start from here. The opportunities that we have, the critical opportunity for accountants, like bookkeeping, tax advisory, training, business advisory, and data analytics. Then I think you can move to the next one now. And then also the softwares that we need to be able to have capacity in to be ready for virtual work as accountants or remote work as accountants. And I think the next thing was to do with the...
It has to do with the
technological revolution.
Exactly.
In terms of cloud accounting, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and blockchain. That has been explained because these skills make us agile, exactly, ready to partake in the revolution brought about by technology. I believe it's clear. I think you can move to the next one now, which is the tips for remote work, which is you must have access to internet. That is non-negotiable. You must have a secured workspace because sometimes you're going to work from home. Your children should not be running around. Then you must also consider the difference in the time zone because you'll be working for people who are not within the same time zone. You need to be somebody who plans your calendar. Exactly. Somebody who is very organized, have a good calendar up to date and be able to plan your activities. Then you should also be somebody who have respect for data protection because you'll be working with information or data of third parties, and that is something that you need to consider. Then tax implications, because once you are working in different jurisdictions, there are different laws that apply across various jurisdictions, and you need to have regard for that. So I think I'm just summarizing, right?
Sure, absolutely.
So challenges.
That's it.
Challenges that you have to contend with is work-life balance. Some of you are too rigid, but Charlie, it's time to change. Exactly. You don't have to work. And then also cultural interaction. You'll be working with people who are in different jurisdictions. The way you make your face sometimes shows that you're not happy, but somebody is telling him something different. Exactly. If you are working with an Indian, he'll be shaking his head all the time, but it's something you have to be comfortable with. And then also team dynamics, very important, because sometimes you may be feeling isolated because you are working remotely. You are alone in the house, you don't have anybody to talk to. And sometimes it can give you mental health problems. So it's something you need to adapt to. Exactly. Because if you work alone for long, you may not be interacting with somebody. You are so used to having to work with people. But with remote work, sometimes if you don't have that opportunity, it can affect you mentally. So these are some of the challenges that you could have. And I think these are the key things. I'm sure those who join us late, these are the major issues we spoke about. Dixon came in to give us support. So for those of you who want your CVs to be refined to reflect your opportunities you want by working remotely, Dixon will provide the support for you. I know we'll soon have another webinar. Evans will always be on hand to help. Is that okay? And I think we need to thank everybody who made this particular meeting successful. We'll share the slide, we'll share the videos so that you can watch thereafter. So on behalf of the team at Aspire and the alumni, we thank everybody for joining in this call. Wish you all the best. Have a lovely weekend.
Please share Dixon's details.
It is well, we'll share it.
All right, thank you all.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Good night. Bye.
God bless you, Ellie.